Hey, Talia here. So I've always wanted to do these videos where I get to talk about my God stuff and like just sort of, I don't know, it's my passion to, well, for people to hear about God, hear about Jesus. And I've always like kind of second guessed myself where it comes to the videos, because I'm like, well, I'm not a pastor and I'm not a preacher and I'm not a teacher and I'm not any of those things. I'm just you know, I just am a chick who opened up a group, and the group just kind of took off, and so I just didn't really ever know where I'm supposed to place this part of my journey. But man, as the world gets as hectic as we see that it is now, it's like I feel like I need to say something, but I don't know how it's going to come across, and so I just feel like I just need to talk about my own personal stuff, and see how it relates to people. Just like in the group, everyone just tells their personal story, and you know, and each person supports the other. So I was just thinking about how lately I've been going through some, you know, health challenges, and not like I'm not in pain or anything like that, but I have had this dizziness for like 11 weeks now, and I've had some weird numbness in parts of my body, and so just some what I would consider probably neurological. And of course, because our medical system is so incredibly broken, I can't see anyone for a minimum of 5 months. So I'm just a number in the system, just like everyone else. And we all just have to wait for our time to get seen and get help. And do we even get help? Because, you know, the medical system is so basic, and, you know, our bodies are so intricate, and it's just, I can see how complicated it would be to figure things out for people and their personal, you know, health stuff. And so, you know, obviously nobody likes feeling unwell, so you're always searching for an answer. You're always like, you know, at the moment obviously I'm addressing my diet and exercise and all the things that I can do within my own realm of you know, not expertise, but, you know, things that I can change in my daily life to make myself just generally healthier. I'm doing those things. But I was thinking about how easy it is now for, even as a believer, Christian, to think, oh, I just want to get rid of these symptoms. I just really hate the way this feels. I'm kind of willing to do anything. But then I realized, you know what, I'm not willing to do just anything, because I've had quite a lot of, you know, people suggest different things and modalities and different healers and things that I could go and visit. But I am acutely aware that I don't want okay, I'll call it a spiritual healing, but it's more that I don't want the wrong kind of spiritual healing. So even if I thought that, you know, some kind of energetic, you know, healer where I don't feel like they have, their energy has come from a God source, even then I would rather not have, it's so crazy to say, I know this, but I would rather not have the healing than have a healing through a spiritual source that I feel is not of God. So I thought that was really interesting, that even though I really, really hate the way this feels, I also don't I don't want the healing as desperately as I want, you know, to have my healer in my life, my healer, God, that is, Jesus. So there's a couple of verses that I was thinking about how interesting it is that so this is a good verse. So this one is in Revelation 12 verse 11, and it says, and they overcame and conquered him because of the blood of the Lamb and because of the word of their testimony, and for they did not love their life and renounce their faith even when faced with death. And that's huge. That's absolutely huge, because, you know, in the Bible, like those apostles, those disciples, those believers, you know, heaps of them were martyred, heaps of them actually died, but they would not they would not renounce their faith, even unto the death. So it wasn't as important for them to have their body, their physical body or their health or whatever, as it was for them to have their faith. And I honestly can say, even though I almost hate to say this, because, you know, I also want healing from these symptoms, but I just know that I have to focus on my healer. I have to focus on my healer and not the healing. So that's where I'm at today. And then another verse that I saw, because I think, like, as well, people get so caught up in this world. They get so caught up in this world. If you're having a good life, like if you're having a really good life, you've got good health, you know, financially you're doing well, emotionally you're doing well, and you're really enjoying your life, you're going to be like, you know, it's hard. It's, I guess, in a way, like, having things go wrong and having symptoms makes you really, really focus on what's important. And to me, it's not this life. This life to me is not important, because actually I was always a pretty healthy person, and you know, and now I've got these symptoms. So I wasn't unhealthy, I wasn't treating myself badly, or, you know, doing anything hectic where you would think that you should end up with something wrong with your body. But here I am, and there's something not quite right. So, you know, it happens to everyone, and it can happen to everyone and anyone at any time. You can lose your health, you can lose your house, you could lose somebody you love, there's just at any time, because we're living in a human experience in a broken world, and at any time you can lose, you know, things that really are important to you in this life. So, you know, this is just a reminder to me, although I already was clinging to Jesus, like, it wasn't like I wasn't, you know, God wasn't my focus, but this just makes me feel even more acutely aware that, you know, He's all we've got. And this world is like going down the plug hole, in case you haven't noticed. It's going down the plug hole, and I truly, honestly believe there's not much time left here for us. And so I think, well, what do I do? And this is the verse in Matthew 5 verse 13. It says, "You're the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its taste, its purpose, how can it be made salty? It's no longer good for anything but to be thrown out and walked on by people. You are the light of Christ to the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket, but put it on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good deeds and moral excellence, and recognize and honor and glorify your Father who is in heaven." And I thought, you know what, that's what I want to do. I just want to be a light. I just want, you know, the whole 30 plus group in the community is based on my faith, you know, of not people not bullying each other and not being mean and horrible to each other, and, like, you know, letting each other have freedom of speech without being nasty to each other, and, like, and you know, us supporting each other. To me, that's all about how Jesus would want us to look after each other and care about each other as women. So to me, I feel like that's the light that I want to give to the world. So anyway, I just thought I'm going to start sharing my thoughts like this, because I really don't, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a pastor, like I said, but I just feel like I want to share the experience of what Jesus is really like, because as well, over in the group, whenever you talk about God or Jesus or anything to do with that, people hate it. Like, they really hate it. There is definitely a true antichrist spirit in the world, and there's definitely people who are very blinded by, I don't know, their spiritual blinders are on, so they can't accept anybody even saying the name of Jesus. It disgusts them, it repulses them, and for lots of reasons. Lots of people have been hurt in churches and things like that, and I have as well, but I've just learnt that I have a personal relationship with God. Like, I have a personal relationship where I communicate with Him myself, so I don't, even when people let me down, even in the church when people let me down, I don't blame that on God, because people are messed up, like everybody. We're all different, varying degrees of messed up, and, you know, I've done things that I'm not proud of, and there are things that I definitely would love to have, you know, have a retake on, but I can't. And I just feel like, you know, we're all just living a human experience. So if you've been disappointed by the church or people in the church, or if you've been really hurt by what you thought was supposed to be godly people and they just turned out to, you know, abuse you or whatever. I've had that as well, all through my life, in fact. So I just want you to know that God is good and he's real, and even though we have to live this human experience and things go wrong and sometimes our health fails because our bodies are not are mortal, God's still awesome, and luckily for us believers, we get to go and be with him one day. And the way this world is going right now, I don't think that it's going to be that blooming far away either. So for those of you who don't know Jesus and who don't have any kind of personal relationship with him, I don't know, I'd just say, just ask, just even in your thoughts, just say, God, if you're real, show yourself to me, just make yourself known to me, and yeah, and start some kind of dialogue like that. I quite often just will close my eyes and I'll write, and it goes all over the paper, but it's I feel like I ask God questions, and then I just write down what I hear, and it's kind of in my spirit, not like it's my own voice, but not like it's an audible voice of God or anything, but I just hear stuff that I wouldn't normally respond, you know, to myself and my thoughts, and then I'll write that down, and I feel like that's God speaking. So I mean, even try that. He doesn't speak in condemnation. He doesn't say horrible, mean things. So if you hear horrible, mean things said to you, then that's not God. So just be clear. Let me be clear that, you know, if you want to write stuff down and you want to hear God, just know he doesn't speak in condemnation. He's kind, he's gracious, he's merciful. So that's how you will hear him. Anyway, that's my little rant for the day, and I'm just gonna start posting these on the spiritual part of my YouTube. So I've got the makeup one, I've got the lady interviews one, and I've got the spiritual one, and I think a couple of other food ones and stuff, health and all that sort of thing. So I'm just going to put them there. Obviously, if you're not into this, then don't watch. You don't need to argue with me. It doesn't matter. It's like, this is just me and my point of view. And so yeah, but hopefully it encourages you. Just get out there and just do your purpose, and your light is literally just you being yourself, the person who God made you, and being it in the nicest possible way that you can. Okay, have an awesome day. I'll talk to you again soon. Mwah.